That's right, we read the news so you don't have to. And from our That Could Never Happen in a Million Years file, after 7 decades of animosity, kidnappings, and almost constant danger, the demilitarized zone that divides the Korean Peninsula was a place where 2 nations actually came together to begin talk of peace. Summit meetings are often private affairs, but this one featured Kim Jong-un and President Moon of South Korea in front of their citizens and the world, shaking hands, crossing the line into each other's country, even holding hands as they walked. While former South Korean presidents had traveled to Pyongyang to meet Kim's father when he ruled, this was the first time since 1953 that a North Korean leader had ever entered into South Korea. Let me put it in perspective. I wasn't even born when this was going on. In fact, there was not an end to the war. It was only an armistice. They were at war until they signed this peace agreement. So for 65 years, they've technically still been at war until now. Now, near the end of the day, when they were meeting, leaders Kim and Moon sat for half an hour in private conversation, a discussion over that maybe was just over some tea. Nobody could hear all of it was going on, but who could have imagined that taking place? So how does this bode for President Donald Trump's upcoming visit to North Korea? Well, we hope the peace talks and nuclear disarmament negotiations that started on this historic day are going to be sealed, along with the opening of the North Korea entire nation to freedom and prosperity by the time President Trump heads home. We certainly hope so. Another story we've been following. I'm sure you remember the song, Happy Days Are Here Again. If you do, you're very, very old. Now, that's been the unofficial theme of the Democratic Party since Franklin Roosevelt in his 1932 campaign. Well, everybody ought to be singing it these days, no matter what their political persuasion is. Initial claims for state unemployment benefits fell to 209,000 for the week that ended April 21st. After seasonal adjustments, that is the lowest level in nearly half a century. 14 states, that's right, lowest in all this time. But here's this, 14 states have set record lows for unemployment, and giants like California and Texas are at 4.1 and 3.9% respectively. Idaho, Iowa, Maine, Nebraska, New Hampshire, North Dakota, and Wisconsin all have unemployment rates that are lower than 3%. Hawaii holds the nation's lowest rate at only 2.1% of people unemployed. Now, what that means is this. A tight job market means businesses are competing for workers rather than workers competing for scarce jobs. What does that mean? More money for people in the workforce. It's good news for Americans. I don't care what your color is, what your gender, what your creed is. That is good news for every American, and we all should be happy about it. And I'm sure you've heard when Kanye West tweeted that Donald Trump was his brother, liberal America lost its mind. And when he also said he loved the way that a black conservative, Candace Owens, thought, well, you'd have thought the end of the world had come. So what was the real evil or threat that people in social media space were reacting to? A couple of African Americans, one famous, one young and female, both free thinkers, challenging the political beliefs of urban America and the traditional Democratic Party. Now, rather than that taking free speech and offering reasonable and rational public debate over this incredible offense to the left, writers in Rolling Stone have declared Kanye West to be a threat and someone who has sold out for the perks of white privilege. They do know Kanye is African American, right? Even after Kanye offered another tweet that said, for people in my life, the idea of Trump is pretty much a 50-50 split, but I don't tell a Hillary supporter not to support Hillary. There was no forgiveness in pop culture for his brazen words and his display of an autographed Trump hat. On Friday, Kanye tweeted that he had not done enough research to call himself a conservative, but he refused to be enslaved to monolithic thought. So I guess for a part of society that claims they own the moral high ground on just about everything, the liberal intelligentsia and their pop culture agents sure don't have much room for freedom of thought. Hey, I might just tweet about that sometime tonight.